Hello student, welcome back to my channel. So today we will discuss here about the next topic of uniform circular motion. Before that I will revise the topics which I have explained in my previous video. So dear student, in my previous video I discussed about the topic which are related to the uniform circular motion, like angular velocity omega, which remain constant in case of uniform circular motion, and their formula is d theta by dt, and the relation between linear velocity and angular velocity v equals to r omega, and after that relation between linear acceleration and angular acceleration r alpha. So these are some topics which we have been discussed in my previous video. So today we will discuss here about the next topic of this video, which are related to uniform circular motion of a body. So dear student, first, when the object, as you know that when we talk here about the uniform circular motion, the object is moving in a circular path so that their speed remain constant but their velocity is changeable, and also at every time the particle is equidistant from a point which is fixed, and here it is known as the center of a circular path. So here one by one I will discuss today's topic. So first you can see the diagram here. See student, this is our velocity. If I am writing here v1 and v2, suppose v1 vector and v2 vector are the velocity into different locations. Suppose this is our P location and this is our Q location, and if we think here about the position vector of these two locations, so from this point of reference which is our center of the circle, so here the position vector, or you can say the location of the point P and Q, which is noted by in vector form, is written as by vector r1 and by vector r2, and as you know that the motion is a circular motion, so the magnitude of r1 and magnitude of r2 remain equal, which is equal to the radius of a circle. And when the object is in circular motion, uniform circular motion, that time if suppose in two different location object made an angular displacement, suppose it is delta theta, for the time interval from P to Q, which is here I considered delta t, and as you know that for that case I can consider the displacement which is linear displacement for point P and Q, means from point P to Q, which is a del S or del X also. Now here I will discuss, as you know that the object is in circular motion, so during their circular motion, the motion of the object or particle or a body is a periodic motion. After a regular interval of time, the object will cover same path or will pass through a same point. So that time we will discuss here two terms which are related to the circular motion. First is time period and second is our frequency. These two terms are very familiar for you because you all have read this time period and frequency in class 9th. So time period, time taken to complete one revolution, or you can say one round in a circular path in circular motion. You can define the definition like that, and it is noted by capital T. I will write this here. It is noted by capital T, and you know that because here we are talking about the time period, so its SI unit is second. SI unit is second. Point is clear, student? Now here if we think about the frequency, as you know that frequency word is the reciprocal of the time period, but when we think about the definition, you can say that number of cycle or number of revolution per second is called frequency, which is denoted by sometimes in some book by f, and or in some book it is noted by mu, or in some book it is noted by n. So these are the symbol which you will face to represent the term frequency here. So here I am representing this by this mu term. Now student, relation between frequency and time period, you know that relation between time period and frequency, which is our mu, is very simple, which is in front of you. T is equals to 1 over, means here I can write in short in language form, time period is equals to 1 over frequency. How we can prove it? It is very easy for you. You can write time is equals to 1 over mu, and when we write the SI unit of frequency here, you can add one thing. SI unit of frequency is, this is, see here, from this 1 over time period, and 1 over time period is second inverse. SI unit of time period is, frequency is second inverse, or you can say hertz. So hertz is your SI unit of frequency. Now after that, if you want to know about the relation, how we will show the relation between these two, so listen student, one revolution, time taken to complete one revolution is equals to t second. Listen carefully, time taken to complete one revolution is equal to t second from the definition. But when we write here, it means that it is the time taken to complete one revolution, which is t second. Now see, from this relation, if we want to write the number of revolution in 1 second, that time what you will do, you will divide this t by this. So number of revolution in 1 second, because in t second the object is completed one revolution, so in 1 second it will complete number of revolution in 1 second. By this equation it will be 1 upon t revolution. Point is clear? That 1 upon t revolution, that are the number of revolution in 1 second, which is equals to the frequency by the definition of frequency. So that's why I have written 1 upon t is equals to mu, which is the relationship between the time period and frequency. Point is clear? Now after the discussion of time period and frequency, I will write the next topic of uniform circular motion, which is our centripetal acceleration, and after that we talk here about tangential acceleration, and then the total acceleration of a body circulating in a uniform circular path. Point clear? So for that, pause the video and note down. Now student, after the discussion of some initial topic and relation between the time period and frequency, here I will discuss the next topic, which is our centripetal acceleration. Point clear? Centripetal acceleration, what? When the object is in uniform circular motion, that time the acceleration of the body due to their uniform circular motion is called centripetal acceleration, and the direction of the centripetal acceleration is toward the center of the circular path, in which the object is moving with uniform speed, or you can say with a constant speed and a constant angular velocity. So here we can write the centripetal acceleration, the acceleration by which the object or body travels in circular path. Body travels in circular path. Point clear? So this type of acceleration is called centripetal acceleration. It acts toward the center of circle as we know that it is an acceleration, so it is a vector quantity. It is a vector quantity, that's why its direction is toward the center of the circle. Means that suppose if an object is a circular motion, if the object is in circular motion with different velocities but constant speed, that time the acceleration which act toward the center of the circular path is called centripetal acceleration. So here first I will prove the derivation for the centripetal acceleration, and after that we talk here about one more type of acceleration, which is tangential acceleration, which act along the tangent of the circle at any point. Point clear? And then after we will calculate here the total acceleration in circular motion. So first I will discuss about the centripetal acceleration. Okay, so student, according to the diagram you can see that here the object is in uniform circular motion having constant speed, and the remaining P and Q we have taken two positions of the object. Suppose at this time the object is at point P in time t, and in time t plus delta t the object's new position is Q. So the time interval on going to the position P to Q is delta t. This is the time difference, or you can say difference, or you can say the interval of time. Basically time interval between these two positions is delta t. So here I will see from the diagram, you can see here, if I am writing here shortly, see if we think here about the two position from the diagram, I will draw the another diagram which is very helpful to drive a derivation of centripetal acceleration, which is AC equals to V square by R, which you will get at last. So here in two different positions, suppose this is our position P, this is our position Q, and from the center O you can see here R1 is the position vector for the location of P and R2 is the position vector for the location Q, and here P and Q in term of, suppose when we write here in term of velocities, initially I am writing here in term of R1 R2, then that time this PQ is a displacement which is also a vector quantity. By the addition of vector we can easily get the value of PQ vector, which is our R2 vector minus R1 vector. Means PQ vector you can write OQ vector minus OP vector, and the value of OQ vector is R2 vector and here R1 vector. So that's why I have written this value R2 minus R1 vector. Point clear? I will draw two diagrams. We have two methods to calculate the centripetal acceleration. One is this, and this is the angular displacement, which is delta theta for this linear displacement. Point clear? And after that we will draw the same type of diagram for the location P and Q for velocities. Now again you can see the point for point P and for point Q. For point P, if you will see here, v1 is the velocity, or you can say the velocity vector for point P. So it is our velocity vector v1, and for point Q the velocity vector will be v2, and as here the difference between the difference angular displacement between these two position is delta theta, so here it will also delta theta for the velocity vector v1 and v2. And if I will join this PQ, for this PQ vector in term of velocity, I can write PQ vector is equals to v2 minus v1, as I have written here r2 minus r1. And you can write here this r2 minus r1 is equals to, suppose you can write it is delta s if you want to write, otherwise you can write it here delta r. Delta r, listen carefully, r is not here radius, delta r is the displacement, or you can say the arc length, magnitude of the arc length. That's why I am writing here delta s vector. Similarly, the difference of these two velocities I will represent by delta v vector. Point clear, student? So after drawing these two diagrams, you can easily write the relation between angular centripetal acceleration, velocity and r, or you can say that you can find the formula of centripetal acceleration. Now see, from the given diagram you can see this PQ, I have written the all things here, no need to write it here again. And see one thing, as I have written the magnitude of r1 r2 is equals to r, so here also if I will write the magnitude of v1 vector and v2 vector, listen carefully, v1 vector, v2 vector are the velocities at different points, but here the magnitude of these velocities is equals to our speed, so they both are equal, and here let's suppose they are equal to v. Mod of v vector is v, which is our speed, which is constant under this uniform circular motion. So now see student, by these two diagrams, if we think here about the similarity between these two, if I will use here the similarity, or you can say if I will use here the relation angle is equals to arc upon radius, so for that condition we can see from the diagram OPQ, and here also from the diagram OPQ, this is for velocity and this one is for displacement, or you can say position. So from diagram, you can write this thing from the given two triangles, if you want to change the name of the triangle, basically these two are same, but if you want to change the name, so you can write here O dash, P dash, Q dash, which are basically same, but here for representation they are different. So if we think here about, we have two ways to show them they are equal, by using angle is equals to arc upon radius formula, or by the similarity you can write. Basically I am using here by the two triangles. From triangle 1 you can see delta theta is equals to, by using arc upon radius, so here arc is our, you can see the diagram, PQ is our arc, so here PQ represent us from the first diagram, PQ represent us magnitude of PQ vector over magnitude of these two, as we have done here r1 and r2 are equal in magnitude, so I will write here these two in this way, which is equals to r, we know that, but formally I will write here as a mod of vector r. So I will write here also mod of vector r. So now see, next step it will be delta PQ, from the first diagram it is equals to delta s vector, and I will use this modulus symbol, and this one is also for some time. This is supposed to be our equation number 1, and after that from diagram second, if you will see, we have two method. Listen student, this is our first method. From diagram second, we can see here delta theta, similarly same way, delta theta is equals to this upon this, means arc upon radius. So here our arc, which is p dash q dash mod of this, over the value is v1 v2 is same, and this v1 v2 is represented by v vector, so it is our v vector. And now this p dash q dash, just formally I have written this p dash q dash, otherwise it is same as pq. So see here, the value of p dash q dash is same, which is the difference of two velocities v1 minus v2. I have written here like this, and this is the magnitude of this. This one is our second equation. Now from first and second, you can see that the both equations are equal to theta, delta theta. So I will write here from first and second, you can see here these two values are equal because they both are equal to theta. So I have written here delta s over mod of delta r, mod of r vector, and delta v vector mod of this is equals to mod of this. Now I will write the values here. So see student, now finally you can write here delta s, mod of delta s you can write as delta s, and mod of r you can write as mod of r, and this one is mod of delta v, and this is our v. Point clear student, the all things, because here after removing the mod and after removing the modulus with vector, we can write their magnitude here only. So you can divide both side by delta t. When you will divide both side by delta t, you will see the new formula, and into r is equals to 1 upon, or you can write here delta v over delta t into this v. See student, you have one relation delta s over delta b. If you want to write one thing here, if suppose if delta t tends to 0, if this delta t is very small, means time interval is very small, that time you will write this relation or this last conclusion in the way, see how you will write this. If delta t tends to 0, then the limiting value of this and limiting value of this you can represent by the derivative of, see 1 upon r into ds upon dt will transform into ds over dt, and this will also transfer in your dv over dt. Now student, you know that the value of ds over dt is your velocity, or sorry, now the value of ds over dt is your velocity, displacement over time interval, and here also it is 1 upon v, and dv over dt is your acceleration. Point clear. Now if you adjust the all equation, you can transfer this from RHS to LHS, and at last you will write here v square over r. This a is called your centripetal acceleration, okay, and you can write this centripetal acceleration by a symbol AC also. So this a you can write AC also to represent the centripetal acceleration. So here this is the formula of centripetal acceleration, and if you want to write this formula in the term of angular velocity, which is constant during the uniform circular motion, so you will use one relation, v is equals to r omega, and you can substitute the value, then you will get r square omega square over r. From cancellation of these two, you will get the last AC is equals to r omega square. This is one more formula of centripetal acceleration with the help of first method, which is our similarity method, by which you can prove this. And one more method I have to show this relation. See how we will prove this relation with the help of next method. Now see student, for next method this diagram remain same as it is. With the help of the single triangle I can prove the relation between centripetal acceleration, velocity means and radius also. So see here how we will drive a relation of centripetal acceleration with the help of this. See, this is our second method. You can opt any one method to drive this relation. Second method, see, with the help of this second method, from the triangle you can see that delta theta is equals to, as I have written there, angle is equals to arc over radius. So I can write here directly, then that time suppose OPQ are the triangle. OPQ is a triangle. So here magnitude of PQ, once again I will write, and here this is a value which is supposed to be V2, V1, and both of them in magnitude are equal, represented by mod of P vector. So this PQ is equals to delta V, mod of delta V over delta V. Now see about this point. Here I will use this relation, angular velocity omega is equals to delta theta over delta t. So by cross multiplication you can write delta theta is equals to omega into delta t. So I will write omega into delta t is equals to mod of delta v is equals to delta v vector is equal to delta v, and here also v. So now after transferring this delta t from LHS to RHS, I can write 1 upon v delta v over delta t, and this omega remain as it is. If you want to multiply here, you can multiply omega into v, and this is delta v over delta t. And if you think about the value of delta v over delta t, if you did not want to write here delta t tends to 0, so you can write directly here delta v over delta t is equals to acceleration. So in place of this value you can write acceleration A, which is called our centripetal acceleration, denoted by AC, and it is equals to omega into v. Now as you know that the relation between v and omega, v is equals to r omega, so you can write here omega is equals to v over r. V is our linear velocity, omega is our angular, so you can write finally the value AC is equals to v square over r. This is the value of centripetal acceleration, and if you want to write this relation in the term of omega, you can write this value from here. If you substitute v is equals to r omega, then AC is equals to r square omega square over r. If you place here v is equals to r omega by this relation, then the final formula will be AC is equals to r omega square. This is one more formula of centripetal acceleration. And about their direction I have already discussed. Their direction is toward the center of the circular path in which the object or body is moving in a circular track with uniform speed, okay, and constant what? Angular velocity. So this is the relation of centripetal acceleration and linear velocity and radius, or you can say the formula of centripetal acceleration. Then after that we talk here about the next formula, which is a tangential acceleration, and then after we talk here about the total velocity of the body in circular motion. Now see student, the next part is our tangential acceleration. During the motion in circular path, the object has two type of acceleration. One is centripetal acceleration, which is toward the center of the circular path and which provide a necessary force to the object to remain in their circular path. And second one is the acceleration, as we have drawn the tangent at any point P, in which suppose the velocity of the object is v1, and now here we are talking about the tangential acceleration. In case of tangential acceleration, as we have written here, tangent means tangential acceleration is the acceleration which act along the direction of a tangent at any point in a circular path, which is noted by at. So centripetal acceleration act radially inward, and the tangential acceleration, which is act inward direction along the tangential direction. So we can write the definition here: an acceleration of a body or an object in uniform circular path, uniform circular motion which acts along the direction of tangent at that point, or you can say that an acceleration of a body in a circular motion at a point, you can add one thing, at a point in a circular motion at that point. Now language is complete. It is noted by at, and its direction is along the direction of tangent, This is the direction of tangential acceleration. Now see here, as we have written here about the value of centripetal acceleration AC, which is equal to what? V square over R, or you can say R omega square. And student, you know the value of tangential acceleration very clearly, because it is due to this straight path, and this acceleration you can write as a linear acceleration also. So when the object is in circular motion having some constant angular velocity omega and it moving in a circular track or path of radius r, so due to this change, or you can say due to change in angular velocity with respect to time, d omega over dt, an acceleration will also produce in this circular motion, which is called our angular acceleration. So that time the relation between angular acceleration and linear acceleration, you know that a is equals to r alpha. This linear acceleration here, because of this, is act along a linear path or tangent. So this linear acceleration act as tangential acceleration. So the formula for tangential acceleration, I can write r alpha. Point clear? So this is the formula of tangential acceleration, which is same as the linear acceleration, because it act along the straight path or linear path. Now after that, when we talk here about the total acceleration of the object in their circular path, which we can represent like this. Suppose at any point if we draw line, so if we think here about this is suppose the direction of, or you can say here, wait, if you want to write the diagram properly, you can take this one as the total acceleration v, total acceleration, you can write here total acceleration a. This is the circle completion. So see here, during this time when we talk here about the total acceleration in circular motion, which is the square root of the square of these two. Total acceleration A is equals to square root of centripetal acceleration and square root of sum of the square root of the sum of centripetal acceleration and tangential acceleration. Now you can substitute the value of AC and AT according to your convenience, so that you can get the final value of total acceleration. If suppose in this case AT is equals to 0, suppose tangential acceleration is 0, special cases of these, that time the total acceleration is equal to what? Centripetal acceleration, and the object will move that time in circular path. And if suppose AC is equal to 0 here, that time the total acceleration is equal to the tangential acceleration, and the body will accelerate tangentially along the direction of, suppose here PM, means along the object will accelerate along the tangent, that time when AC is equals to 0. So these are the discussion about the centripetal acceleration, tangential acceleration and the total acceleration in circular motion. Point is clear? So after the discussion of centripetal acceleration, you can also define the value of centripetal force, which we will discuss in next chapter, laws of motion. Or this is nothing, in short way you can say the force in a circular motion, when the object is in uniform circular motion, then the force which provide the motion of the object is circular, should be circular, or you can say which provide the motion of the given object so that their path becomes circular, is called centripetal force, and this force is due to the centripetal acceleration which act toward the center of earth. And if the body of mass m is revolving or doing a circular motion, uniform circular path, in uniform circular motion, in uniform circular, if the object of mass m is in uniform circular motion in a circular path of given radius r with some constant speed, that time the value of the product of mass of the object and the centripetal acceleration, which is v square over r, is called the centripetal force, and their formula is in front of you, mv square over r. We will discuss this formula in next chapter. This is nothing, it is very simple. We have one definition, and after that I will write this formula directly. You can write this formula here also. Centripetal force is the force when the object is in uniform circular motion, the force which act toward the center of the circular path or toward the origin or initial point, you can say in short circular path, is called centripetal force. This force act toward the center of the circular path, so it is noted by Fc or F centripetal, and their value is mv square over r. It is very simple. Point clear? So dear student, pause the video and note down to understand the topics.